restream, and I think I need to get a different link. Let me see. All right. New link. All right. Now, here's the problem. I need to send out another email to all the folks I emailed just a second ago because I was like, oh, I'm going to do something good and I'm going to send an email. And now, because OBS wasn't working, I need to quickly change some things. Details. All right, so I'm typing away furiously. Save. That's updating that. Send out another email. God damn, people don't like getting multiple emails, you know. That's what I've heard at the day job. Sent. 46 have already opened it. Reuse template, blast. All right. Change all the links. Oops, OBS didn't work. Using different streaming software, but had to make a new URL for these streams. Sorry. This is the new link. And let's see. This is the new link. And this is the new link. Email, updated stream link. Sorry for 2 emails. OBS didn't load, so using an alternative. Send to recipients. Yes, send to 1,000 people. My email list hasn't changed in years. Still 1,020 people, give or take. Now my coffee's getting cold. God damn it. Let me see. I gotta go to my own stream to look at the chat now. Oh, here we are. All right. Hello. All right. This is different. All right. I think this will work though, because we got my window here. I can move this window around. I can scroll this window. I am sure that there is a lag. I'm looking to see when I see the scroll start on my window over here. It's fairly long. I haven't seen it scroll yet. Although I think I wasn't playing. That's probably why. Getting cold. All right. God damn it. God damn it indeed. Fairly long. All right. So what are we doing today? Let me open a new window here. I'm also going to go to sheets.google.com and we're going to do not what's in the board game box. We're doing this. Board game maths is what we're looking at. Okay, so here's the deal. I've been working on this game, and in this game, I found this wonderful website, dexterous.com.au. The .au is because they're proud of being Australian, I suppose, instead of trying to make themselves global. And this is what I've made. All these cards. The bowl, you and I may have remembered some early designs for this. Now, this is so much easier. It takes some setup. So does Photoshop. But once you have the setup, it's really easy to go into your settings here and use all these fancy words and stuff to make the pictures come up and the things look right here. This is supposed to be automatically sizing, but that seems to have broken. But yeah, so I've got all these fancy pants cards, and I've been playing this game. Oh man, maybe I have to do my stream settings. What? I think some settings here. Settings. Video. No. Audio. Show advanced. No, that would be. Sometimes there's like a special mode for video. Annoying. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the quality. I'm looking at a Restream here to see if there's any special things. I'm not at a high resolution. You know what I think it might be? I think it might be I'm streaming at 720. That's my guess, because if I go to my settings, you can't see it, but if I go to my settings, I have high definition. Yeah. And to stream on full HD, I need to go pro, and going pro costs $16 per month. Billed as $190 per year. Nope, that won't even do it. It has to be $490 a year to do full HD streams. Yep. So I'm not going to be spending $500 today for that. Yep. I can't use, hey Jason, I can't use OBS because for some reason it's not loading for me. It's really frustrating. It just doesn't load. It says run in safe mode, run normally. I click run in safe mode, click run normally, and it just doesn't work. Yeah. So, and I think maybe I just screwed up everything by trying to open it again. Anyways, things happen. I see the screen change, but very frustrating. The other OBS, there's an other OBS. The downfalls of switching name, Mark, are the only. I already restarted the Mac, unfortunately. The only downside is the name recognition. And the legal corporate entity change. The corporation name is not Infinity PBR, but to change it to Magic Pig Games, which I would like to do, takes paperwork, and I don't like paperwork. This is my pile of tax stuff I need to deal with that is just on my desk in a mess, taunting me, telling me, hey, get better at business. But I don't like that part of business. Problem is I just need to get like really, really rich so I can pay other people to do it for me. But so far, I haven't been rich. I've been thinking about it, though. I was thinking earlier in my life about becoming a rich guy. But then I went to instead. So what can you do? Yeah, you can do a DBA, but I'd like to change the actual name of the corporation too. It's better for Apple if I ever make games on Apple. So this is what we're going to do. So here's the deal. All these cards, I've spent god-awful amounts of time cutting these out. These are made on, they print out like this. They're on thick paper. I get this from Michaels. This is paper from Michaels. If you know Michaels, it's in the US. It's probably in some other countries too. But if you ever go to Michaels, always get the coupon from their app, because on Valentine's Day I saved 30% off everything I bought. And I bought more of this paper. This is thick paper. This isn't just regular cardstock. This is thick cardstock, and it's wonderful. So I printed on this because I like it, and then I cut them out, and I cut the corners. I got a little corner cutting thing, and you got to cut the corners because it's just better. It feels better, and also less likely to rip your little sleeves. And then you sleeve them because this paper can't be shuffled easily by itself. It's rough. It's not smooth. So you can't shuffle. You got to sleeve the cards. So you sleeve the cards, and then you can shuffle them. So I've been making these cards, and we've got various cards. So in Dexterous, you can see them here. So you got starting cards. Some of them, they're not organized because they don't have a type. But these are these are your general starting cards. Everyone gets a selection of these. It's a deck building game. Have you guys played deck building games? Yeah, they're very popular. Clank is one of Clank, Thunderstone Quest, very popular ones. And then there's weapons and armor. So weapons give you some attack. Some of them are magic attacks. Some of them are physical attacks. Some of them give you some more initiative. Some weapons or things might have both magic and physical attack. They can go either way. There's some spells. I haven't fleshed out the spells very much, but there are some spells. Each character, depending on who you choose, you can be either a class or a race special card. So you'll get one of these that do bonus stuff. So this one this isn't a thing that can fight itself, but it can augment a fight. This is just 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that, since that one stream that one night. Now, to be fair, you could say that, but this is culmination of many years of working on a board game. This game is very different in many ways than the game I was working on a few weeks ago that is now shelved again, because I was thinking, how can I solve some problems? And I thought to myself, this might be better as a deck builder. So I got some ideas and started going crazy with it, as one does. And then we got items. So you can buy items, and the items will have different effects. There's town effects and attack effects. And then there's discard effects. But we're going to be changing that today. So keep that in mind, because that was the big epiphany I had last night. And expect it's going to change a lot. You don't get a full game first run, right? You have to find the fun. Then you got your hero cards. Everyone starts with a hero. So if you're a half-orc knight, you'll get your half-orc knight character. And this is a hero. This is a card that can be deployed to do fighting. You got the estates. These are the big money-making cards. They cost a lot. They give you a lot of points. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do their effects, whether they have effects or whether they just clog up your deck. A lot of deck building games for the big point cards that you get near the end of the game clog up your deck. And they're really kind of there just to give you a goal, but also give you a thing to spend your money on. Because usually near the end of the game, you've built up this engine to make a lot of money. And near the end of the game, you're like, I don't want anything else. I've got good stuff. And so then you give players a thing to buy. But I think there's some value in the estates doing some additional things as well. Then you have the companions. These are the big ones. The companions are the things that you fight with. So they've got attacks, defense, initiative, various combinations therein. They've got costs. Some of them are magic. Some of them are physical. Some of them will have both. And let me find one of those. So the street rat here has both magic and physical. So you can augment them with either of them. It's not Monopoly, that's for sure. I won't design Monopoly, but that's because there's many of them. And then let's see. So lots of different companions. I went overboard on the companions. Then there's going to be artifacts. Artifacts, each one, there's only one of each. They're more powerful than items. Items, though, I don't know if you noticed this. One of the things I put on all items, and maybe this is going to have to change, is the draw one card. So when you play in town, you get to draw one more card. So if you have a lot of items, you'll be able to do one after another. Artifacts, however, don't have that feature. So the artifacts are more powerful, but they don't have the draw one card. So they are a little cloggy, and they give you some points. And then there's the armor, and we're going to change the armor as well. And so if I look at my layouts here, this Dexterous app is really cool. It's $4 a month. Support the guy. Their Discord is wonderful. Very nice people. So this is what the player board currently looks like. It's just work in progress as everything. But when I was playing the game originally, you would have cards in your hand, and if you want to fight, either the game is that you can either fight on your turn and everyone can join you, or if somebody else goes to fight, you can join them and basically get points on somebody else's turn. They get a bonus for that hassle of having you tag along. But the whole point of the game, the big aspect of it at least, is that you get points in your turn, but you're getting points on other people's turns too. You're playing on other people's turns, so there's no downtime. So you always need a companion or your hero to fight. The other thing is, you need for the enemies, you need to get at least 3 damage. This is only one damage right there. You need at least 3 damage in order to hit the monster, and the monster is going to have some number of cubes available before it's destroyed. So when you go to fight, you say, okay, I'm going to fight with these 2 cards, and you put these down secretly. So you say, okay, I'm committing to fight. Here's my 2 cards. If you have might or magic on your board here, little cubes, you can give more of those. And originally it was unlimited. I think the new version is going to be up to 2 per companion to augment the fight. So if I ended up only putting this, I could put 2 might and make that 3 attack, 1 hit. We're all happy. So I put down this secretly. Others also put down secretly. I can add initiative to the mix as well. There's going to be initiative tokens, but also on these cards, there's these numbers. Those 2 and 2 is for initiative. And when you go to reveal, whoever's leading the attack attacks first. So if that person's turn, they always attack first. But then the other players attack in initiative order. Because ultimately, there are cases where you might join an attack and you don't get to do any attack because the monster's defeated before you get there. So that was the original idea, and I like the idea too. I like the secrecy. I like that, but then I thought, okay, you know what? Something's not right. It wasn't going fast enough. Oink poppily. Is it oink poppily? Oinko poly? No, oink poppily. Has to be pig poppily. Pig poppily is even better. More pig poppily. We're gonna go with pig poppily. Yeah, we are solving problems. The game was just not. I want the game to be over in about 20 turns, 20 rounds rather, or less. And last night I was playing it, and at the last night I wasn't doing the deploy. It was going pretty fast. I don't have it in this room, but I have this whole sheet where I was keeping track of like everyone's points. One player did get lagged behind. They made a bad choice, and that was a disappointing to me because there was no catch-up mechanism. So, there's that. And it was pretty clear, I think, at that point they were going to lose the game. There was just no way they could. You lose by not having the most points, of course. But you do lose. You got health, so there's health there, and the bad guys do damage. So the level 1 bad guys, I think, do 3 damage. 3 damage. Is it 3 damage? Yeah, 3 damage. Level 2 bad guys do 5. Level 3 bad guys do 4. But some of the characters have armor, and of course, the armor has armor. And so if your armor is equal to above that, then you don't lose any health at all. Your health can't go below 1. So if you have not enough armor and not enough health, you just can't join the fight. There's no option of joining a fight and hoping that you survive. You would die, and so you can't join. So that's another mechanism of like, okay, well, you can't fight too much. You have to get some armor. If you don't have enough armor, you're not going to be able to fight a lot. And if you can't fight a lot, you don't get points. So it's this trade-off between, the various values. So I've gone back and forth between the idea of completely secret hand cards in hand that you play and deploying, because when you deploy something, originally you could only deploy spells, but now if you deploy a card up top, you can't see what I'm doing, but if you deploy a card onto that, now it's out there. It's ready to attack. It's ready for you. Once you deploy a companion or a hero, you can start equipping it with weapons and armor that come up in your hand. But that does 2 things. One, it gets you ready for an attack for another player's turn, but it also thins your deck. So now while you're switching your cards out, you're more likely to get the other stuff that you want. The companions, they don't have any benefit. Most of them don't have any benefit. This one actually is supposed to have a benefit. It's supposed to have a benefit, that one. But this one doesn't have any benefit. So there's no value in holding it in your deck. You want that out. These do have a benefit. Right now, this card says 1 gold, but it should say 2 gold because I changed that. So there's a benefit to having that. If you don't want it deployed, you can discard it and get gold. So I've been going back and forth between these two ideas, and I think what I've landed on is yes, you can deploy. And I've actually changed the dice mechanism in the old thing to the card drafting. So there's still randomization, but there's more control over that randomization. Because card deck building, you're ultimately getting random cards. You don't know what order they're going to come in and so on. But you have more control, at least certainly the sense of control. So I've been going back and forth, and I think I've decided that yes, you can deploy up to 3 companions. I think you're going to be able to have as many spells deployed as you want just in front of you. Those are going to be different. You can, when someone attacks, when you attack, or when somebody else attacks, you can join with any deployed companion that's ready to go if you can survive the attack. You can't join an attack if you can't survive. Oh, one of the other things is originally, if you had 2 guys out there, you could go with all of them. And people were doing like 6 damage cubes at once, which is like 18. Which is fun to have that much damage, but the problem was the math was hard because suddenly you're like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're counting up to like 18. That's just too much. So you can join an attack or attack with one companion or hero and all their gear that you've equipped with them. There will be a limit to gear: 1 weapon, 1 body armor, 1 accessory armor, or 2 accessory armor, something like that. We'll figure that out. Or if you have in your hand other characters, you can secretly deploy with those. So that's where this idea of like, okay, you might have this elven scout out there deployed, right? But in your hand, you have a longbow and something else. Let's say you have a longbow and this ranger's quiver, right? And the ranger's quiver gives an extra attack for every ranged thing. So now this is a ranged thing. So now you get an extra attack. So this is going to give you an extra 3 attack. And plus the Elven Scout is 1. So, do the math: 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you augment this with 2 might from your board, that's 6. 6 equals 2 hits. So you might have the Elven Scout deployed and people will be like, okay, he's got 2 initiative right there. And he's only going to do 1 damage. So I'm going to join the attack. But then you go and say, well, I'm going to commit with this. So now I'm saying I'm going to do the attack with the Elven Scout and these 2 cards. You don't know what these cards are. What are they? I don't know. They have to be something, but what are they? And so that gives you a little sense of like, oh, shoot, do I give some of my initiative tokens to, I want to go first because I don't know how much damage he's going to do. Maybe his does 1, maybe he does 2, maybe he goes fast, maybe he doesn't. Now, in this case, these both have initiative, so I'm going to have a total of 5 initiative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good chance I'll go first or second. But anyway, so that's the kind of the user experience I wanted, the player experience I want to have, is this idea of like, you're building up your deck, you're building up resources, buying new cards, you're fighting the monsters, but you're really playing this game where you're doing a hand management thing. And that gets me to the other thing. So you're playing this game, you're managing your hand in order to capitalize on attacks, basically. On your own attacks, where you're guaranteed to go first on your own attacks, that's where you get points. And on other people's turns when they attack, because that's how you capitalize. That's how you utilize your deck in a way that's, you get to do more actions, basically. So Clank, I should just bring it up on the screen rather than show it physical. Clank deck building cards. So Clank does an interesting thing. Let's see if there's images of it. Where's the images button? Oh, it's the first one. I missed it. Clank does an interesting thing with their cards. Let me find some. Okay, here we go. How do I make this big? Open image in new tab. All right, that's not big. Can I make this big? How do I make it bigger? Can't. Oh, I was pushing the wrong button. All right, so it's a little blurry, but these are their standard cards. Well, no, the burgles are standard. So they do a few things. Their skill points, which is what you use to buy stuff, is a number. The other ones are just individual icons, and I think they do that in the the cost is the number down here. And I think they do this for 2 reasons. One, skill points, you can get 10 in a turn. Later in the game, you'll get 10. You add them all up. And so it's easier to add 4 numbers to a high number than to count 10 symbols. Generally speaking, for your movement and for your attacks, it's less numbers. So it's easier to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 symbols than to count 1 plus 4. Does that make sense? The other reason I think they might do it is the skill. When you use the skill, you go and you buy something. Can't remember if you can buy more than one thing at a time, but you go to buy. I think you can only buy one thing at a time, and you buy something. So it's one action. So you combine the numbers into one action. Whereas the movement and the attacks, you can use those separately. So you can move one, use 2 attacks, then move another one. And so by keeping them separate, there's might be something in the brain that keeps them separate. I don't know. But certainly keeping the numbers low is helpful for cognitive load purposes. People just, I mean, you just don't want to count that much. You know, the game shouldn't be about counting and summing and then dividing. So really that's why having 3 attack equal 1 hit gives you more flexibility to have, you know, cards that give you 3 attack or 2 attack or 1 attack. So it gives that flexibility of variety in cards, but it's also fairly low. In fact, the enemy cards need to be updated because originally, where are they? Monsters. Originally, my monsters had. So these are the level 1s. I'm going to bring up a level 2 one. Let's see. How do I show it big? Duplicate. Where's the button? There's a button. Show card. Okay. So originally, can I make this bigger? Nope. All right. Originally, oh, I see. It's just floating in here. It's a floating window, and it would. Oh, I can do this. Okay. So originally, this one would have 4 attack required to get 1 hit. I'm going to remove that. From now on, all the bad guys just take 3. So you don't have to think, wait, oh, that's a level 2. Now I did the math wrong. Fuck, now I can't hit. That doesn't feel good. So all of them are going to take 3. You get 1, 2, 3. This one has 10 hits available before it's destroyed. And it does 5 revenge damage. So you need 5 armor and or health to survive attacking. I suppose 6 health because you can't go below 1. And so that was part of it, is you don't want to count that much. And I think one of the things with the deployed, by deploying the companion and only having 1, not only do you already know how many hits that 1 can do because you've got them in front of you, but you're only doing 1. So, you know, most likely weapons will never go more than 4, and heroes will never go more than 4, and you can never go more than 2 on the augmentation. So you can only get maximum of 10. That's the max. You can never count more than 10 when you're doing this math. And so it's always going to be more like, oh, okay, I have 4. Let me augment with 2 so I can get 2 hits. Or I have 6 or I have 3. So I'm just going to play that and get 1 hit and don't augment with my might or magic tokens. So I think that might be a little easier. I have to play it and find out. Usually when I play, I just try to, you know, kind of feel it out. And so that was one of the big changes. The other big change I thought last night, it was going too slow. Like I said, I want it done in about 20 turns, give or take. I asked ChatGPT, I have no idea if this is right, but they say Clank takes about 12 to 20 rounds to finish. And it depends how people play it, of course. If everyone's just collecting loot and not making Clank, then it could take longer. And that Thunderstone quest takes about, I think it was 20 to 25 rounds to finish. So I thought, okay, this needs to finish. This needs to complete in 20 rounds. A lot needs to happen in that time. And so we need to speed things up. So one of the things I did earlier in my testing, I changed from the weapons having 1 gold to now having 2 gold when they discard. So the change I thought of last night, I was tired right before going to bed, was when you are, and I can show the tokens here because there's a bunch of tokens. When you're level 1, when you're level 1, you get this token in front of you. And it means your hand is 5, and you, on other people's turns, you have 3. So on your hand, you have 5 cards. Then you discard down to 3. And on everyone else's turn, you've got 3 cards. And you're able to play 1 for their effect. You can either deploy something, or you can play something for its discard effect, which is these 3 hearts up there, or play something for its town effect, which is listed right here under town. So this one, draw 2 cards and then 1 gold. There were some clunky things, like playing the draw 2 cards when it's not your turn and you always have to discard down. That doesn't really make any sense. So that was a little weird to me. But I'm going to flip this around now. So now you're still going to have 5 cards in your hand. I'm going to pick and choose which cards I have in my hand right now. So you're still going to have 5 cards in your hand at all times. That's what that 5 was going to mean. What it means, the other number means, though, is going to be how many cards you play. Whether it's your turn or not, you always discard that many of cards. You have to. You're forced to. Now, many cards are going to have a discard benefit. So you're going to get stuff for those. And this is the hand management aspect of the game. So you're building your deck and then building your hand. So on everyone's turn, you discard that number of cards. To be determined whether you can optionally clear your hand of the other 2 cards, or whether you just have to hold them for indefinitely. To be determined. I just don't know which one feels better. Currently, I was playing with you have to then throw out the other 2 cards. But I think I'm going to change that because part of it is hand building. So for instance, let's say you have this merchant map and there's a town effect. When it's your turn, you don't get to go to town. You don't get to go and attack unless somebody else attacks, and you can join the attack on their turn. But when it's your turn, you play 3 cards just like everybody else. You discard 3. And then what cards you have left, you can go to town with. And so I think during that other player's turns, not only are you discarding in order to get stuff, but you're setting up your turn for your turn. If you think you're going to attack, then maybe you've got a card in hand that has an attack benefit. When you attack, this happens. Or when you're the leader, this happens. Or maybe you think you're going to use this powerful town effect, and you're going to be like, well, I want to go to town, so I'm going to use this town card in town, rather than using it for its discard effect. So I think that's going to do 2 things, at least, probably do more. It's going to speed up the game. People are going to collect resources faster, because now instead of, in a 4-player game, instead of doing 3 cards for their benefits per round, you're doing 12. So way faster. Some of the maths might have to be changed with that. But the other thing it's going to do is give you that option of, hey, when it's not my turn, yeah, I'm getting stuff. Yeah, I might be fighting, getting some points and getting ready for that. I'm going to deploy cards on my turn. You can just deploy or discard. But I'm also saying up for my turn. What am I going to do on my turn? Am I going to do an epic battle? Am I going to fight and lead an epic battle because I've gotten some cards that give me those benefits? Or I'm going to go to town and spend my money and get new cards and do some powerful town effects. And so you're basically setting yourself up. Now, this is level 1. When you do attack, you get experience. And as you get experience, as one does, you gain levels. And so on level 2, you get more. So I don't know if these numbers are going to be the same, but on level 2, you're going to have now 6 cards in hand, and you play 4 cards. So I think I'm actually going to make it 5-2, 6-3. So when you're on level 2, you've got or maybe it's 6-2 and then 7-3, something like that. But now you've got more cards in your hand. That means on your turn you can do more things. It means you have more options. It also means that as you collect more cards, it's a little bit more forgiving. Discards are recycled, correct. There's going to be a different term for a discard where you don't get the benefit. I think I'm going to call that clearing your deck. You can clear a card, which means you put in your discard pile without doing any effect. And there will be some trashing effects too. I'm going to have to add some of those. So this by leveling up, you end up with bigger hands. So it gives you more flexibility. You cycle through your cards faster, and you have more opportunity for combinations and cool combinations. It also means that you get more of these. Every 10 experience, you get to increase your stats. Originally, that was meant to be 4 skill points, and every player had different number of skill points required to update their stats. But now it's just going to be. I'm changing that. I already changed it in my head. I just haven't changed it in the cards. That every time you get 10 experience, you level up at these things, these progressions. So you get level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. But every time you get 10 and you recycle, you bring this cube up 1, you can increase your stats. So when you get here and here, these first 2, you get an increase 2 of these up 1. And when you get here and above, you get 3. And when you get here above, you get 4. I might change that again. Maybe this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 4 once you get up to 90. Originally, you also had the option of trashing a card at that point, but I think the trashing is going to be part of the card effects. I think that makes more sense, and keeps it more simple. Of like, you know exactly what you're doing here. You get 2, and that's it. No trashing required. Just 1, 2, and you just do that. So it's a little easier. Again, trying to make things snappy and fast. That's why I got rid of the skill points, because the skill points required you to be like, well, I've got 4 skill points. This costs 3. This costs 1. This costs 2. Let me do 2 of this or 1 of that. It was too much thinking. Weird how we want people to think less. All right, I'll be right back. I need to get more of this coffee and sip this water. I've been talking a lot. By the way, oh my gosh. So some of you may have remembered I was talking about getting glasses. Well, I have them now. Check these out, yo. Now I'm smart. Now I can't, the screen is, so let's see. I have to be back here for the screen to look okay. So I had progressive lenses and they were shit. I couldn't do anything with them. I already drink with my pinky out the bowl. Have you never noticed that? I'm constantly drinking with the pinky out. That's just, I think because the hands are too big and the cups are too small. And maybe I did it as a joke in high school and then it stuck. But I had progressive lenses and my first time wearing glasses, I couldn't, the whole world, it was worse than VR sickness, first of all. I'd move my head and the whole world was worse than VR. And then I could see fine if I was looking straight ahead, up there for distance, middle for whatever, and then lower for reading. But the sides were so freaking blurry. I'd be looking at the screen and the two sides would be blurry, so I couldn't really see what was going on. So I'd have to move my head, because you can't move your eyes. Because if you move your eyes, you're looking through the blurry bit. So I'd have to move my head. Reading a book, the middle text was clear, super clear, very nice, very nice. But then the two sides were blurry. So again, I couldn't move my eyes. I'm used to reading with my eyes moving, right? So luckily they have a 100-day replacement guarantee. I thought that they were going to keep the more expensive lens money, but no, they even gave me a $95 refund. So I got money back. And now these are only for the far distance. Pretty much when I'm wearing them, actually, let me see. When I'm wearing them, my fingers are blurry until here. Like almost arm's length is where my fingers get clear. So everything beyond that distance is super clear. But everything else is not. So my screen, I don't need glasses for my screen. Certainly the mid-range prescription was definitely better for the screen, but things are basically clear. Like the difference is very minimal. Anyways, That's my glasses story. So now I'm going to wear them when I'm outside and driving, because man, driving, I can see road signs. I didn't realize how much I used to be able to see back in the day. And what's weird is the doctor used to tell me I had perfect eyes just like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So this change happened pretty soon. I don't understand why. I'm only getting younger, so it shouldn't be happening. Makes no sense. All right, so that's the big change here. But this means that I need to change these cards. These cards make 0 sense now. Let's bring up we'll bring up the cards for the starting cards, because these are everyone gets the starting cards. And I'll talk through why it makes no sense. Okay, so you get 3 of the manual labors, and then 1 of each of these, and then your 2 special cards based on your character. So a total of 10 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My math was off. See, counting to 10 is hard. Beyond that, don't do it. And then you get all these others. So the town effect originally on other players' turn, you can play 1 town effect or discard for the thing. Now on your turn, you can only discard. You have to discard. Everyone has to. Even on your turn, you have to discard 3 cards or X cards. And so you're only going to get their discard effect. If you discard a card that has no discard effect, you do not do the town effect. You do not do their effects. So I need to flip this around. Originally, they were discard for heart or play down for a thing. Now they're going to change a little bit. So let's talk about manual labor first and show how cool this dexterous is. Go into my spreadsheet. I know that sucks. But we're going to make a copy of this. I'm going to make this, duplicate this in cards V2, because I don't want to change the original one. And we're going to change okay, we're actually old. V1. We're gonna do cards V1. I'm gonna update we're gonna cache the old one, and I'm gonna update the new one, because I don't want to have to redo all the V lookups and other shit in my Dexterous sheet, which is my cards. These are what Dexterous actually imports. It's basically JSON. Well, this gets imported as a CSV, but then this is all JSON. But you can see my fancy spreadsheet algorithms here. If as in a VLOOKUP this, opacity 0, otherwise get the value. So it's very, 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 there's a lot of links going on here. And so if we go down to our cards, we look at let me make this bigger. 150%, that should be good for screen. Let me know if that's too big, too small. And I think I can actually make this wider. Okay, that looks to be about the width that it should be to fill the screen. We don't need to not fill the screen. Let's use all the real estate available to us. Okay, so what was it? Manual labor. This is our town effects. I have some fancy coding going on in my Google Sheet, and I can enable and disable it with this right here. But it's the thing that changes human words into these non-human words. So right now the card effect is town plus 1 gold. So we're going to change this. I'm going to say town plus 2 gold. And the fancy math or fancy script is going to change that. Pretty neat, right? And then for the discard value, we're going to make this 1 gold. The fancy math or the fancy script doesn't look at this. I can choose which cells it looks at. That's why that didn't change to a different gold. So there's 2 kinds of get rid of a card. Type 1, use the card, gain some effect, and type 2, toss the card in the trash. Similar. Specific, since trashing a card is going to be a thing, but it's a different thing. You're going to your discard is the thing. So now when we go back to Dexterous, we just import the CSV again, and usually it happens fast. Sometimes it takes a minute for, I think it's Google, to do whatever it's doing on its servers. But now we got no labor here, and we have our +2 and discard 1. And that's why this Dexterous app It's a web app in Chrome. Really freaking cool. You can just change that number, update the card, print it out, done. Really nice, really nice. And if you are using Top Simulator, there's exports to that, but I tried using it. I not like that one bit. So now this means, Corey, to your question, on your turn, you have to discard 5 cards. If you discard this, you get 1 gold. If you don't discard it, you can hold on to it. And when it's your active turn, when you're the active player, because you do the discard on everybody's turn, when you're the active player, you're going to town. You can either go to town or you can attack. If you play this while you go to town, you get 2 gold. So you're going to get more gold by holding on to it. So now you've got the trade-off, because now let's say this meditation will give you a heart and town will give you here. You can be like, well, I really want that the magic cube more than I want extra gold. So let me discard the manual labor and keep that. But maybe your health is low. So you're like, well, I could use the magic cube, but I'm going to discard the meditation for the heart, get 1 health, and save I know I'm going to go to town, so I want more gold to buy stuff. So there's going to be this trade-off. I think mining is where you get a gem. Gems are used to purchase spells. Spells I have not fleshed out yet. They're going to be powerful right now. They're just a variety of middle-of-the-road spells. As an example, I need to figure out what spells are going to be able to do. But for those who are focusing on a lot of magic, they might be a nice benefit, because there will be more might-based weapons and characters and companions, but there will be more spells for the magic users. And if you're in the middle, and everyone can choose to be in the middle, everyone can upgrade. If you're an elf wizard and you start out with low might, you can, as you level up, build up your might, and so you're not at a disadvantage for the whole game if the cards available are just shit for you. So I think with mining and trying to keep it thematic, certainly when you're in town, you can get your gem, but maybe when you're well, this is a tough one. How plentiful should gems be? Because if it's a discard thing, you can get a lot of them. So I think what we'll do is ooh, this is interesting. All right, I'm gonna just throw this out there, just do it, and we'll see how it goes. So mining is going to say this: for you're gonna get 1 gem when you discard it, but then your town effect is gonna be town. Sell 1 gem for 3 gold. So this is going to solve a problem that I actually noticed, is that sometimes, and this was probably due to partially, that's the word I was looking for, partially due to the fact that the spells weren't that exciting. Now you can get rid of gems. So if you've been collecting gems, now you can get rid of them. Convert them to gold or hold them for a spell. I do like the idea that non-magic focused people will have gems and be like, well, I guess I'll buy this 1 utility spell and play with it, just to force them to engage. But now if you have this, when you go to town, you can sell a gem. That's thematic as well, right? Yeah. And I think we'll keep the preparing and initiative. So when you prepare, if you discard it, you get health. If you go to town, you get 1 initiative token. Now those are the ones that will help you speed up and attack before others later. You just hoard them until you want to use them. And on a very important attack, you can be like, okay, I'm going to give some of my initiative because I really want to go first for whatever reason. And then this is experience. This green is experience. I need a better image for it, but this is what I got for right now. Public works, that's supposed to be you're doing good things for people, so you get the experience. I think I'll keep this for now with the health and this. I think there's too much health for the discard, though, is the problem. So I wonder, in a 4-player game, you will go through a 10-card deck. Maybe once and a half in one round. So this can come up once or twice. So we could put this one experience on either one. Or it could be discard one experience and a town effect different, something different. Okay, what if this is a trash card? What if on the you get an experience when you discard it and you get a town effect of trash a purchased card, so not one of these defaults, trash a purchased card for free. Because I don't want people to be able to trash these ones early in the game. Because trash in a deck building game, trashing your cards is very important, right? Getting a slim deck, you're gonna have some cards that you buy early on, like the club, that later you're like, this club is just, I'm getting gold from it every time I discard it, but I don't want to keep discarding. I want to get rid of it. So maybe this will let you get rid of a previously owned card. So let's do that. I'm just going to go with it and we can change it later. So mining is going to be, discard is going to be, not mining, public works, one experience. And then town, trash, one purchased. How about this? One weapon, armor, or item. That's more explicit. So again, go back to Dexterous. We can just kind of see what it looks like. Oops, I didn't click the I'm sure. That's a lot of words, but this is what it looks like. I made these. This is another design thing. I don't know if I'm not a designer by trade, but the bottom of the cards have a color. These colors aren't matching right now, but any keyword that's a card type, I made it a colored background. For the action type, I made a color background with a rounded edge. And for other keywords, it's going to be capitalized. I have a bottle of Coke in the other room from last night. I like the bottle of Coke because you can put the wine stopper in it and it keeps it fizzy. It just popped. So I'm going to go put the stopper back in because I want to drink the rest of that Coke with buffalo wings later. Be right back. And I should clarify, I want to drink the Coke and I want it to still be fizzy, duh. Anyways, so this is a lot of symbols here, but I think it will make sense because I want people to see this and recognize weapon as a card, weapon card, item card, armor card. Trash needs to be a special symbol. So to do that, we have to do two things. I have to go to my Google sheet here, do my prefix suffix. I don't think I have it here yet. So no, I don't. So we're going to say trash, trashing, trashed. Yeah. And for all that, we're going to do this trash. And then copy that and place that. And now if I go back to my cards, I have to redo this. We're going to say town, trash, one weapon, armor, or item. And so now trash is going to be special. Then we go to Dex. I've got import it again, and you're going to see that it's got an issue. Oops. Because I haven't set up what that keyword means yet. So right now it's just that JSON and it's just sitting there. So I go to this styles here, and I can copy one of these. I've got all these already set up. You can see all the different styles. Very nice. I'm just going to duplicate this, call this trash. This is trash. And this is just, I'm going to keep it the same as just bold. I'm keeping them separate just in case I want to make them different later. But otherwise, they're all just bold. So we're going to save and close. And then this should update. There you go. So now trash 1, armor, weapon, or item. I can actually probably remove the commas there, but it's okay. I could probably actually make that. I could work on the layout, but it's okay. All right, so now this seems like it's decent. I think if I think about the playing, like you got 5 cards, maybe you've got 2 of these, 1 of this, 1 this, 1 this, then you can be like, okay, now I've got choices. I'm going to discard 3 of them. I need some health, so I'll discard this. I need some gold, so maybe I'll discard 1, but it's my turn soon, so I'll save the other and discard this for more health. Or so you got choices on your turn, or on every turn, because it's not just your turn. Okay, so I think I'm okay with those in this concept, but now I need to change all the other fucking cards. Although I'm okay with all the weapons being to discard here. I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. The values are all wonky. They're not. I have some algorithm for the card costs going on, like all this different stuff, and then it does some other stuff for if it has multiple things on it, then it gives a modifier. Because it's a card that has 2 attack versus a card that has 1 attack and 1 armor. The 1 attack, 1 armor is generally better than one that has 2 attack because it has the armor as well. Hello. Oh, it's probably because you may have been in the wrong stream. I had to change streams because my OBS wouldn't load. And so the original stream URL, which I emailed out to people, I couldn't use it. Very frustrating. I'm supposed to be able to stream. I need Wyman to tell me how to do this. I couldn't figure out how to stream to that URL through Restream. I think I need to connect Restream to OBS, but OBS, of course, didn't know it. You are here now, and that is good. I'm glad you are here. So I think I'm okay with these. The values are a little wonky. I gotta change them. I range that needs to be, I didn't print that out yet. 2 versus undead. So I'm okay with these for now. The spells I'm not going to touch yet because they're just placeholder spells. I think the values are really weird. Like this golden touch, I think is overpowered because you can just get 12 gold when you're done using it. It'll take a while to charge it up, but still. So we can work on these cards. These are the starting cards for your race and class. They're all spread out because most of them are organized by type, and these ones don't have a type, so their types are druid. These ones. So let's do that. This is archer, and they are organized left to right, top to bottom on the sheet. So archer is going to be sidestep. So this one is an attack card. And the reason why it's an attack card, it's an attack card. Well, it can be an attack card, I should say. So this card has a discard effect of gain 1 initiative. So when you discard it, you'll get 1 cube for your initiative that you can save for later. And there's no town effect. So you can't play it during a town. But if you use it during an attack, whether it's an attack on your turn, like you're doing the attack, or it's an attack on somebody else's turn, you can add this armor to that. You can play it then. Now, you can't, however, equip it. So it's not armor. These are armor. You can equip armor. So if you've got a companion or a hero deployed, you can equip them with armor, meaning they now have this armor. So when they attack, they're going to use that. This one has to be in your hand when you do the attack. So that's part of the hand management aspect of the game. That if you know you're going to attack soon and you're like, you know what, I'm going to need this armor because I don't have enough health or I don't want to take the damage. So I'm going to hold on to this in my hand and keep this in my hand so that when I do attack, I'm going to add this to my hand and use it then. Now, the other benefit is when you add it, everybody knows which companion you're using. You know, if you're using one of your deployed companions, they know what the initiative is, they know what the attack is, they know all that stuff. But then when you add this card, you add it face down. Nobody knows what you added. Now, they might assume, well, you're an archer, you've been using sidestep this whole time, so you're probably sidestep, but they don't know that. It could be another card that gives you more initiative, could be another card that does something else, it does more damage, so suddenly you're going to do more damage than they think you're going to do, and that might change their calculations of how much initiative they want to put into the game, or what other cards they might want to put out. So there might be a small aspect of player versus player. You're not attacking other players. You're just sort of fighting over who gets to go first, like a kid. So I think I'm going to keep sidestep as it is. The next one down is these three, dwarf, elf, and druid. So we can find those here somewhere. Here we are. Druid is on town. You get to do something cool. Sweet deals. Town. I should add town because it's specific, but the effect can only be done during town anyways. -1 gold when purchasing cards. I can make that more clear. Like with minimum 1. -1 gem when purchasing spells for lore. I made this a discard of gold because I so rarely used this card. I felt like the elf was annoyed. The player was annoyed because they're like, I never use this card. It does nothing for me. Why did I choose this card? So I made it discard 1 gold. So the question is, do we discard sweet deals 1 gold? And I think no, because this card gets used a lot. When I play with this card, when I've been testing, I've been using the exact same cards over and over just to really get to know those cards. And this one pissed me off as a player. This one, however, I used it a lot. And you might buy, I think currently you're going to be able to buy 1 card from each type. So 1 item plus a companion plus a weapon if you can't afford it. So that could save you 3 gold in 1 round. So I think that's more powerful. So we'll leave it there. Nature's Wisdom, however, does that need a discard thing? It's pretty powerful because it gives you the or effect. So you can go either way, depending on what you want. And it can give you extra gold. So you have those other gold cards in your hand. You could discard one of those and play this on town and get 3 gold instead of, 1 or 2. So I think this one doesn't need a discard effect, but I haven't played with it much, so maybe I'll add that later. But I do want to update this. So a couple things. Spells is not capitalized or bold here. And both of those should say town. So let's go to our sheet and we're going to update this. So it's going to be town -1 gold when purchasing cards. And then I think cards is a keyword that's going to get highlighted here. Nope, it's not. Let me make it a keyword. Does it need to be a keyword? That's not a keyword. Everyone knows what a card is, right? So it's going to be instead town -1 gold when purchasing cards. And then this one for lore is going to be town -1 gem when purchasing spells. Spells is a keyword though, and it did not get updated, so I should make that. I think that's a fair keyword. So spells is both going to be spell. What's neat about the ChatGPT helped me do the code for Google Sheets here, but it's case insensitive, which is nice. That's why I'm typing in all caps because sometimes you might want all caps, sometimes you won't. I've decided, but I do want to I forgot to add one thing here too. Town -1 gem when purchasing spells, and then return and minimum 1 And minimum 1's going to get italicized. There you go. There you go. And then this is going to be town -1 gold when purchasing cards. And again, do this minimum 1. All right, so let's go back to Jextras. Look at that. Refresh the data, I'm sure. See if these make sense. They make sense to me. I think from a design standpoint, I have to decide whether town should be on the left or if sometimes town should be on top. But I think it's fine. Or minimum 1, maybe it should just be next to it and not a carriage return. Actually, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to just disable this. If I edit this while having that enabled, it's going to redo everything and it's going to look wonky. So I'm just going to disable that as I change these, and then I'll re-enable it. The iteration time for using the sheets and textures together is quite nice. So this is a case where it didn't get updated yet. Google servers are probably just doing their thing, and so maybe the second time or third time or fourth time or next time it will update. But so those will update. All right, so I'm happy with those ones. Next ones are Rage. Rage is the half orc one. When you discard it, you get a might, and it's worth 1 thing. Now, this is what I'm going to change because I realized when I was playing that might in Magic, which are these cubes that you can augment your characters with, are really powerful. Getting more of those is helpful. Now, part of that was that at the time I was playing where you could augment with as many as you want. So if you had 6, you could get another 2 hits just because you had 6. So now I'm going to limit that augmentation down to 2. But what I think I'm going to do is make this a town effect. So let's go to Rage down here. And we're going to say town +1 might. And then the discard will be 0. So I'm just going to remove that, and that should solve that. And while we're here, we're going to go over to the human here, Ingenuity. This one is town, might, or magic, but there's no other actions. So I'm going to keep this as is. There's no discard effect. There's no attack effect. Whereas the Rage has an attack effect, which has the benefit of being the same as a might when you use it. So Ingenuity gives you the flexibility of choosing one or the other, but it doesn't give you any other option. So I'm going to leave that as is. So let's update this and see what Rage looks like with the new thing. I actually also need to change. We're going to need to change the way the card is set up. That's not updating. It's annoying. Because right now the layout is just the way it is, but I need to change the layout to make this discard more flexible because some of these cards are going to have more information on the discard. So we're going to have to change that. But all right, let's see. Are there any other ones? Items. We have Leadership and Deep Study. Deep Study is like Rage, but so we're going to change that to be like Rage. And so town +1 magic, and then nothing on discard. And Leadership, this one's tough. So originally it's +2 damage when leading an attack. But I found that you don't always, like, it's weird. You can't compute then. So it either needs to be +3, so you basically get 1 free hit, which is also 1 free victory point. Or it needs to be nothing at all. Now, you don't always do an attack. In a game of 20 rounds, you're probably going to get an attack, do attack maybe 5, 6, 7 times max. And not all of those times will people join you. Most of the time, somebody will join you, I think. Gain an additional hit could be worth a lot of points. So what I think I'm going to do, we're going to change this to be +1 hit when leading an attack. So when you're going to have to keep it in your hand. It's an attack effect. You keep it in your hand. And if you attack and if somebody joins you, you can then play it and get an additional hit. Maybe we're going to change that to experience. Or something which is a similar great benefit, but it doesn't quite give you the points. But let's just change the points for now. And if it's overpowered, then we can change it. So this is going to be attack. +1 hit when leading. Uh-oh. This got double adjusted. See that? This is attack, attack. This is leader, leader, leading. So that means the math went through twice. And lead, lead. And it did this. Ah, leader, 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 leader. Okay, let me just delete this. That's why it did that. All right, go back to my sheet. And so we're going to say attack +1 hit when leading. And that should solve that problem. Okay, and then there's going to be no discard because that's pretty powerful. So I think no discard is fine. And then we also need to say variable attack. No, it's not a variable attack anymore. Right before it was +2 attack. Now it's not going to be any variable attack. So it doesn't get that question mark. Then add the question mark for variable things in the asterisks. There you go. Attack +1 hit when leading. All right, so that's another hand management thing where you're just going to decide, okay, I'm going to hold this in my hand if I want to use this when I attack. What time is it? Okay. Later, I have to go over to my friend's house and watch her kids, but that's not for a while. So, so there you go. Okay. Deep study, town +1 magic, but it's worth a magic attack. So it's just like rage, but the opposite. And I think that was it. We're good with those. We are good with those. All right. So that's all the starting cards for now. I am going to have, I think, maybe ultimately 2 different options for the hero cards. But for now, there's only 1 hero card for each. So let's go through these. When you choose your character, you're going to also get their hero card that matches. They have a variable number of attack and defense and initiative. And the idea is they get 3 of if they have 3 attack and defense up here, like half orc knight has 2 attack, 1 defense, dwarf mage, same thing. They have no benefit down here. So they don't get any other benefit if they have stats. 2 initiative equals 1 of these other 2 in the math, the value. And so you've got the dwarf archer, 2 attack, 2 initiative, human archer, 1 attack and shield, and 2 initiative. Dwarf knight, 2 defense, 1 attack, etc., etc. But if they have only 2 up here, so elf archer shouldn't have this initiative because they shouldn't have that experience. Why do they have that experience? Is that a mistake? Elf archer should not have discard. Okay, so elf archers shouldn't have a discard because they got 1, 2, 3 up there. The only ones that don't have 3 are going to be over here. Now we need to figure out what their benefit's going to be. So human mage is going to be 1 charge when casting or deploying a spell. So the spells have those charge squares, and you charge them with magic. So whenever you get a magic cube, you can update your personal magic supply, or you can charge a spell with it. So it gives you 1 flexibility. Maybe you want to do the spell before you fill up your own, or 2, if yours is full, you've hit the maximum magic, you can't get any more of that stat, you can now spend that as a charge So if you are a magic heavy character, you've got an outlet for those extra benefits that may go to waste otherwise. So I'm going to keep this. I don't know how powerful this is. I think it's fairly powerful, but it has to be used right. But is this a town or attack, or is it just an anytime thing? I guess if it doesn't say a town or attack, it can be anytime, right? If it says just nothing, then it can be used during attack or town. You deploy a spell during town. You cast a spell during an attack. But you can also cast a spell during town if it's a town spell, like that doesn't deal with attacking. So I think that's okay. This one I'm not happy with. I need to change this one. This one says +1 attack per villager in your party. We're changing that. So maybe it's going to be +1 attack per deployed villager, because now, before you could attack with multiple companions, now you're only going to be able to attack with one. So this doesn't make any sense. A lot of the companions are villagers. This is elf ranged, human soldier ranged. A lot of the lower value ones are villagers. Human villager, elf soldier, human villager, human magical, human villager. This could be human villager magical. So I don't know how often you're going to have a villager. Half orc villager, human villager. This should probably be villager as well. But fairly often. And so the benefit for this one could be, which one? This one. +1 attack per deployed villager. So that could give you +2 attack. If you have, because you're going to be able to have 3 things deployed at once. So let's change it to that. Well, and then if it's weird later, we can always change it again. Human druid. Human druid. So it's going to be attack +1. We'll just say +1 damage per deployed villager. Uh-oh, I have to do this. +1 damage per deployed villager. Deployed, did I make that keyword? I did. That's nice of me. All right. I drink a lot of coffee. And I haven't been eating until lunchtime. And it's been working. Okay. +1 damager. Nope. Oopsie poopsie. +1 damage. Just damage per deployed villager. All right. So that means if you do a lot of villagers, middle of the game, this is going to benefit you. Later in the game, you're going to have soldiers more than villagers, I think. Beginning of the game, you're not going to have much, but middle of the game, this is going to be pretty beneficial. And it might give this hero enough boost to give you basically two hits instead of 1, because you need 3. So if you had 2 deployed villagers, you'd have 3, just enough to do a hit. But if you also have a weapon attached that has 3, now you can do more. Or if you have a weapon that does 1, you augment it with might or magic. Now you can do 2. So this will be helpful mid game, I think. The half orc mage. This card is this magic. So, like I said earlier, magic I found out while playtesting is very powerful. Might and magic are very powerful. This is a discard effect, which is interesting because it means you're not going to be deploying it. If you deploy it, you don't get the discard effect. So I think I'm going to leave this because while this is powerful, you also really want to deploy your heroes. So if you choose to do this, you're making a conscious choice to not deploy your hero. Maybe you've got things all deployed already. So mid-game, you're going to do this discard more often. But you're making a choice here to not deploy your hero. And your hero is powerful because it can use might or magic. And most companions can't do that. They can only use might or magic. But the heroes can do both. So this is a good choice. So I'm going to leave that. I need to these don't cost anything, so I don't know why they have the cost there. Let me change that. Cost is going to be 0 for all of these. All right, and then half orc druid. That's not very powerful by itself. This attack 1+1 health after is kind of weird. You might as well just make it armor at that point because it's very similar of an effect and a lot easier to think about. So I think what I'll do here is make this discard, you get 2 health. Gain 2 health is pretty powerful, especially in the early and mid game. There's not that many cards that will give you 2 health at once. So again, like this, you're going to have to choose between deploying it or discarding it for 2 health. So let's change that. Half orc druid. We'll get rid of the card effect entirely, and it's going to be 2 health. Okay. Half orc archer. Same thing. You're going to make that choice, but I'm going to make this 3 initiative because, as we discussed earlier, initiative is less valuable than attack and defense. So we'll make that 3. Let me import this and we'll update the cards. All right, there you go. And then the elf mage. So this is very similar to the human druid here. It's going to be, this is currently 1 attack per magical companion. We're going to make this to +1 per, yeah, and we'll just have to do the math to make sure there's an equal number of magical as there is deployed. The big difference is, or maybe there's going to be less because this already has 2 attack. The big difference is magic will be spread out over the rest of a lot of the villagers are going to be kind of weaker companions. So this is going to be helping middle and early and mid game, whereas the magical is going to be spread out. So there's going to be less chance of a magical companion, but they're going to be spread out. And when you get them, it guarantees at least 1 hit without any other augmentation. See you, the bull. It has been fun as always. So I'm going to change that text there. What was it? Which one was it? Let's see, elf mage. Elf mage, this one. Card effect is going to be +1 damage per deployed magical companion. So, whoops, +1 attack per deployed magical companion. And the druid here, should this say companion as well? I can just copy this, disable this so it doesn't redo everything. Do that, re-enable it, go back to dexterous, refresh this data. Yes, I'm sure. Okay. That makes sense because now you're really highlighting the card type companion. Is it better to say 1 attack? Oh, this is, oh, I got the wrong thing. Not attack, it's supposed to be damage. They just copy and paste it. Human druid. It's supposed to be this, not this. All right. So the question, I guess, is it easier to understand +1 damage per deployed villager companion or +1 damage per villager companion deployed? Or is it, whoa. Okay, it redid the whole thing. All right. I re-enabled it too fast, I guess. So +1 damage per deployed magical companion. Or is it assumed that they're deployed? Because you can't have a companion. Why did that revert? Did this revert? It's weird. What happened? So weird. I'm not sure why it reverted. Let me look at my cards here, see if I've got an issue. No, this is the action details. That's what gets fed into this. I'm guessing it must be a bug on the dexterous side then. Weird. Did everything can revert? I don't know. All right. I'm going to assume this is going to go back to where I put in the sheet later. So let's go over to Elf Knight. So this one's a weird one too. When you attack, you get an extra armor for every spell used. That's weird. That's. We can change this to be +1 armor for every magical companion in your party. Let's do that. So +1 armor per deployed magical companion. So that's very similar to the elf mage. Oops, wrong place. Wrong place. Undo. Cards. Elf Knight. All right. There we go. Should I just make this wrap? Guess it's a little easier to see the whole thing now. All right. Let's see if this updates properly. So that's it's a very similar to the, that's for armor instead. Okay, there we go. It updated this time. Oh, this should be a shield symbol. Let me update that. So I've got armor as a keyword, but I also have shield, and I want the shield icon. I think I called it shield icon, but I can't remember. It's going to be a full replace. Armor icon, that's what I called it. Okay. I just called it shield, but that's okay. So this is going to be actually +1 armor icon per deployed magical companion. There we go. And that should be better because it's not per armor card. It's per armor. It hasn't updated yet, but it's going to be this symbol instead of the card symbol. Okay. So the elf druid town, either one healing or one magic. So this is a comparison now, an interesting comparison, an interesting choice perhaps. When you've got the half-orc druid and the half-orc mage, you can discard it and get that benefit. So I'm going to make this 2 hearts. But the question is this a good trade-off? Because now you can do it when you can. You get the choice. Having a choice is always powerful. An or value is powerful. But you can only do it in town. This you do when you discard. Now remember, in a 4-player game, you're discarding 3 different, you're discarding on everyone's turn. So you got 1/3 the opportunity to use it. So you can hold on to it, you can deploy it. So I think it's fine to keep it as town and keep it as an ore. The ore is valuable. Okay, that's fine. I talked myself into it. So we're just gonna make this 2. Here's a question for the group, actually. Is it better if the value of is never going to go more than like 3 of these or 4? Is it better to show 2 icons or to show +2 heart? So what's more? I mean, I think with the discard showing just 2 hearts, when it's just this discard, you get 2 hearts, boom. But with this, it's like you're reading +2 hearts or that. So is it better to show +2 hearts or heart or that? Now, the caveat being, if I have to do +4 hearts, then it would be 4 hearts. And that's now getting very long with other words. So I think I'm going to leave it as this. But would like to know your thoughts if you have thoughts on that. And then Dwarf Druid is currently, for the attack, +2 gold per magical companion in your party. Dwarves are often a little bit more gold heavy in this game. So that's an interesting one. When you do attack with it, you get gold as reward. I think we'll leave it at that, but I just change the text. So it's going to be specifically attack, because this only happens when you attack. +2 gold per deployed dwarf companion. We'll change it to dwarf. What just happened? Attack +2 gold per deployed dwarf companion. Okay. Oh, I had it disabled. Just gonna copy it, delete, paste, and then it should update. There you go. Oops. Okay, there you go. No? All right, paste it up here. There we go. All right, how's that? I'm sure. All right, there you go. So we're just gonna have to make sure there's an equal number of dwarves and magical. Right now, it's just random. I really didn't pay too much attention to it, and we have multiple types. So I think what we're only gonna have 1 companion of each type. So there's only gonna be 1, street rat, 1 merchant, 1 butcher, but I'm gonna have a lot of different variety, and so we're gonna end up having maybe 25% of the cards will be dwarves, 25% will be elves, 25% human, 25% half orcs. So that that there, if you've got this card, this gives you +2 gold for every dwarf. You're like, okay, well, a quarter of them are dwarves. I'm just going to focus on buying dwarves over buying other ones. So if there's 2 very equal things, like an elven scout versus a dwarfish scout, they might have slightly different stats, but I'm going to buy the dwarf one because I want that benefit. I want that bonus that I got. And then there might be items and other things that also play into that thing. So if you've got that dwarf, but you keep finding yourself buying elves for some reason, then maybe you can buy an item that gives you a benefit for having a lot of elves. So that's that. I'm gonna call this a stream here. I've got more work to do on this. I think I'm gonna leave. Well, these I might change. Like this trainer, this discard for the trainer might be too powerful, but it might work for the town benefit. So I might change these a little bit or just go with it for now. I do want to change the artifacts and the items, however, before I actually playtest this, because currently, and maybe I'll update the estates. I've never really gotten to the point where people buy a lot of estates. I've never finished the game playtesting. I always get to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to change something before I continue. But for these, right now, the discard is just 2 hearts, and that's fine. But I think there needs to be more variety in these now, since the discard mechanic is now different. There's just too many hearts. If you have a lot of towns, you can heal very quickly. Because again, 4-player game, if you're discarding 3 per everyone's turn, you're discarding 12 cards per round. So you might attack once or twice, but maybe you take some damage, but you're going to be able to heal really quickly, and that's not. We don't necessarily want to do that. So I need to rework this a little bit, and go from there. So like maybe Ranger's Quiver is not going to be +1 attack. It could be, but maybe it's going to be like +1 hit if you have 3 of, or maybe if you have both the ranged weapon and companions +1 hit or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then the draw 1 card is always for town stuff. So I think I'm going to keep that aspect as well. But we'll see. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Sorry the stream was weird at the beginning. Hopefully it will resolve itself next time, and OBS will be working off to figure out why it's not. It's very annoying. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out.